Hey guys, and welcome to Solar Cabin Channel. If you are like me, you probably use a lot of 12-volt appliances, gadgets, and devices. I use them here at my cabin because I'm off-grid, but I also do a lot of day tripping in my vehicles, and I like to do overnight camping sometimes. And when I'm doing that, a lot of times I may take along my 12-volt fridge, I may take along some 12-volt cooking appliances, or sometimes I just want to vacuum my car using a 12-volt plug. Well, I recently bought a car, and I noticed that this car and a lot of newer cars nowadays don't have a 12-volt plug. And if you don't know what I'm talking about here, if you haven't seen one, it's also called a cigarette plug. This is a 12-volt plug in most older vehicles because it was a cigarette lighter. That's how it was intended to be used. It was a cigarette lighter you could push in, wait for it to come on, and then light your smoke. Nowadays, a lot fewer people are smoking, and that's a good thing. But also, there was some inherent dangers with these types of plugs. Because they're big enough somebody could stick a finger in them, it's a possibility that you could get electrocuted, especially if you spilled water or something like that inside one of these sockets. So a lot of car manufacturers have stopped making cars with this type of plug in them anymore. And I noticed that the car that I just purchased does not have one of these plugs. It also doesn't have an ashtray in it, which is probably a good thing. But that leaves us out now if we want to use any type of 12-volt appliances, if we want to use our vehicles on a day trip or camping, or if you want to use, or if for some reason you need to use it for like running an air compressor to pump up your tires, or some of the mini wrenches, or a lot of the tools now use this types of plugs. So I don't have one in my car. So there's a couple of options that you can use. Now this is a USB to cigarette lighter or 12-volt socket plug. It comes with about a 4-foot cord. It does have a built-in converter, so it keeps the amps correct. It plugs into the USB slot. Now my vehicle does have USB plugs, but it doesn't have the 12-volt plug. So you can get these. They come in a 2-pack at a very reasonable price. It plugs into the USB socket, and then you can use 12-volt equipment plugged into this plug. However, a word of caution on this. These can only handle, this unit can only handle up to 10 watts. If you plug this in and try to run something that's more than 10 watts, there's a possibility that you could blow the master fuse in your vehicle. And something you don't want to happen, because if you blow your master fuse, your vehicle is dead. It won't run at all. You can't jump start it. There's nothing you're going to do. You're going to have to probably take it into a mechanic and have them replace the master fuse, which is going to cost you a few $100s to replace a $10 fuse if you don't know how to do it yourself. Don't use these for anything more than what they are recommended for. Generally under 10 watts. I wouldn't even get close to 10 watts with one of these plugged into a USB socket. They're mostly for very small gadgets that might use 12 volt. But there is another alternative here which I'll show you, which I think is probably a better option if you're going to be running any 12 volt appliances. And that is these 12 volt extension cable. Now this has a 13-foot cord on it, 16 gauge wire. It comes with the battery clamps. Red to red is positive, black to black is negative, and it comes with the cigarette socket. And what I really like about this is this has a fuse link. You can see this right here. This is a little teeny fuse box, and they send you an extra 2 fuses for it. Now this is really important. Like I was talking about, you could blow out the master fuse on your vehicle. Very little chance that you would do any damage to your vehicle using these clamp systems like this, because you're not running through the electrical system, you're not running through the fuse box in the vehicle. However, they do include its own little fuse box and 2 extra fuses that you can put in here just in case you happen to hook something up to this and it blows your appliance or something like that. You can replace the fuse. These are really handy, and I use this all the time here at my cabin because I use 12-volt LifePo 4 batteries in my cabin for running my 12-volt, 24-volt fridge. These will work off 12-volt or 24-volt batteries, and you just clamp them to the batteries, plug in your appliance or whatever it is that you're going to be running it from, and then you can use this for running all kinds of appliances like your mini fridges. I have a 12-volt, 24-volt fridge I take along camping all the time. I have lots of cooking appliances and that I use. Plug them into this. Hook it into your vehicle battery, and if you wanted to, this has 13-foot of cable. You could actually hook this on your battery and find a way to run this through maybe up and under your dash to give you a 12-volt socket if you wanted to, or just use it like an extension cable that you can unwrap when you need to use it for running your appliances. Really good price on that, really good deal. 13-foot cable on Amazon. And here's another option. Now here's another gadget that I found really handy for having in my vehicle. Because I found a lot of times, like I said, I need to run 12-volt appliances from my vehicle, but a lot of times I also need to run a 110 appliance in my vehicle, such as my laptop computer. And so I've got this. This is a 120-watt inverter, designed specifically for vehicles, but you could use it anywhere. An excellent unit to take along if you do a lot of day tripping, or if you have 12-volt appliances that you may need to run more than one appliance at the same time. Because it's a 120-watt inverter, I can actually run my 65-watt laptop, and I can run my 45-watt refrigerator off of it at the same time. And it has USB ports. So what this has on it, now this has 3 110-volt outlets on it. This has a 110-volt outlet that has the ground plug on it, and then it has 2 other 110 outlets. Now you just remember, this is a 120-watt inverter, so it's not going to handle huge loads, but it will handle most small appliances, laptop, computers, your kids' gadgets, and it has 4 USB ports. It has the fast port 3.0. It has 3 of the 2 amp USB ports on it, and it also has 2 of those 12-volt sockets. So this is an excellent unit for day trips and camping and stuff like that, because I can be running my 12-volt appliances off of these plugs. I can be recharging my phone and gadgets off the USB ports, laptop or my refrigerator, all off of this one unit. It's very lightweight, fit right in your glove box. It also has an LED screen on it, so it shows you what the voltage is in your battery. That way you can monitor your battery. It does have an on-off switch on it, so you can turn it on and off as you need to. And it, like it says here on mine, it says that my battery, right now I'm running this off my power station, it says that my battery is 13 volts. So it tells you when your battery, and it has a low battery shut off, so it won't do damage to your battery or drain your battery so much that you can't restart your vehicle. But this way you can kind of keep an eye on your battery voltage to make sure it's not getting too low. And I really like the fact that it has these two DC plugs on it, and 4 USB slots, and 3 AC plugs. It's hard to find an inverter these days with that many features on it, really. Now this does, however, have to be plugged into a cigarette style plug, and a lot of vehicles don't have the cigarette plug style on them anymore, so that's why I recommend one of these extension cables that you can hook directly onto your battery, and then you've got your 12-volt plug, and then you've got your 12-volt plug, so you can run your inverter. So you can run this inverter directly off of your battery, instead of going through the wiring system in your vehicle where you may blow a master fuse. And then you can use this to run any 12-volt appliances, your USB appliances, or 110 appliances. Really good deal, and both of these are very affordable on Amazon. All right, I think these are great products. Go look at them. I put the links down in the comments if you want to go look at them. Please leave a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't. Thanks, folks.